Okay, so I found this article which I thought was relevant to the case. And it says unethical and wrong. Medical examiners quit over claims of sheriff's interference. This is in a different area to Chicago, but it is a similar. I feel it could there could be some similarities to this case. And when you find another case, something else that can help prove, because at the end of the day, this is not the first case that something like this has happened in, and there are many, 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 many corruptions over the world like this. So I thought I'd bring this to you to prove that it does happen. Okay, and it says two medical examiners in California have quit over claims the sheriff had interfered with bodies. They say he ordered corpses, hands cut off, and even pressured doctors to cover up homicides to protect law enforcement officers. Okay? So the police, this sheriff, who also is a some type of coroner, was getting involved in homicides, in murders that were by the police or people that he knew or could help, and telling them to change the documentation of the autopsies or do something to the bodies that are quite drastic. I mean, ordered corpses' hands cut off for what? Evidence purposes? It's just that is how cruel people can be. Okay, and this is probably not the first place that this has happened. Okay, and what I'm trying to say is, how do we know that with all these mistakes that we see and all the issues that we see in this case, within the statements that we see, and especially the autopsies, the things that don't make sense, could it be that they do make sense, but we're given the wrong information through the evidence, other evidence they have provided? And like I said, the evidence they provide to the medical examiner can completely change the outcome of that autopsy. Her being found in the freezer, or her not being found in the freezer, could have completely changed her cause of death, and could have completely changed the fact that it was deemed as an accident. That's all it would have taken. All it took was for them to put her body in the freezer, and it's all of a sudden an accident. Okay. It says, before I began my documentation in May 2017, I had observed long before this that the sheriff was using his political office as the coroner to influence the death investigation of persons who die while in custody or during arrest by the police. Okay? It says the country's chief medical examiner in documents provided to the Associated Press, okay? He resigned Tuesday. He resigned because of all of this. It says, I had thought that this was initially an anomaly, but now, especially beginning in 2016, it has become routine practice, he wrote. Routine practice. Um, and it says here, the sheriff does whatever he feels like doing, as the coroner, in total disregard of bioethics standards of practice of medicine and the generally accepted principles of medicine. He is just getting in the middle to protect people that he needs to protect. That's all that mattered. That's all that mattered. It says in one instance in 2016, O'Malley said the sheriff asked him to change his findings in the death of Filberto Valencia. The 26-year-old was having a schizophrenic episode when his family called police for help. By the time they arrived, Valencia had left the home and barricaded himself in a residential facility with a 10-year-old girl and 3 women. Okay? Look at this. Even this accident. This is exactly what I'm talking about with this case. It says even on this tweet, this is simply daylight corruption and nothing else. He is using his office and power to protect police officers. And it's the same type of thing. How do we know there's no corruption involved within this case? There might not be, but to me, it is looking like there is. Okay? He said that I should amend my report and state that he died from the civilians and not the police officers. Okay? I told him I could not do it. First, it was unethical and wrong. O'Malley said the Valencia family has filed a federal civil rights lawsuit in the case. And I hate to say it, but I feel that there are some of these type of things that are going on within this case. We know that Rosemont have links to a lot of people. A lot of people. They have links to the outfit, which is basically Al Capone's gang, if you want to call it that. There's a lot undercover stuff that we don't realize even the seriousness of. And I feel there is a lot of this type of corruption within the Kanika Jenkins case.